religious reforms and public debates. How did India reach to a place where the religious reforms are being asked by many of them? At the same time, how did the concept of public debates come into India? If you look at the picture in the past, during the modern period starting, we were in a condition where there was a severe criticism towards the existing laws of the Hinduism when it comes to the sati system, when it comes to the child female infanticide, or when it comes to the widows immorality, and all these things are being criticized severely, and these are being the basic things like widow immolation, monotheism, priesthood, adultery. All these things are being seriously controversial issues in the Hindu society. So many of the social reformers started to criticize them, and they want to reform the existing old superstitious beliefs into modern spiritual thoughts which can imbibe human awakening in all the religious aspects. So that's how criticism has been a major part. From that, they want to have a greater reforms in the existing religious pattern and the culture. So this gave a wide scope for debates in favor of the reforms and in against of the reforms. In favor of the reforms and in against of the reforms, we started to have two larger groups. The Hindus, those who are staunch supporters of the old system of Hinduism, started to counter the reformers, saying that this is illegal and these people are talking against the interest of the God. They are going against the will of the God. But finally, these debates are being kicked off, and as we all know that printing has been in a very large scale available at very less cost. So though printing has been initiated in India, we have seen in the previous chapter, the newspapers were also started to come in. So the debates were not done on only one place. It has been done in large places and also in print. So once the debates have been in printed, it started to reach to large number of people. After reaching to large number of people, large number of opinions started to come up. So it indirectly started to connected all the like-minded people together on one side, and also all the opposite minded people also together on the other side. So that's how the debate became very large. So the debates, when it became public and printed, this has brought the time of the controversies. In the time of the controversies, we can see the controversies can be broadly categorized into social controversies and the religious controversies. When we talk about the issues which are being read out in the society during that period, widow comes under the category of social, widow immolation, monotheism comes under the category of religion, priesthood, religion, adultery, social. So the reforms which are to be brought are a combination of social and religious reforms. So a society has to get updated not only in the societal aspects but also in the religious aspects. That's what the reformers want from the modern ideology. So this ideology started to be a serious deadlock between the communities of Indian society. Later on, if you see, the society got further redivided into two major groups. One is the supporters of reformers, the other one is the opponents of the reformers. One is like Raja Ram Mohan Roy in 1821 started to publish the modern ideology in the book called Sambandh Kaumudi. He started to release a magazine called Sambandh Kaumudi in 1821. His views are modern. He wants to be a reformer. He wants to reform the social and the religious, whatever the deadlocks or superstitious beliefs are there, without any evidences that are being questioned seriously by Raja Ram Mohan Roy, which are inhuman in nature. But counter to this, the Hindu Orthodox Society also released a counter newspaper called Samachar Chandrika. This Samachar Chandrika has been published in 1822. So it clearly reveals for us that in 1821, when Raja Ram Mohan Roy published, counter to this one was published in the favor of all the so-called reforms which are required. They are asking what is the necessity to have a requirement or reforms on the name of Samachar Chandrika in 1822, so that they can have their own supporters. They can educate the people that there is no need to have any kind of reforms which are required by the time now. And later, when we talk about the other newspapers which came into existence, we can see that the Persian newspapers, two newspapers of Persian came into existence. One is Jam-i-Jahan Nama, the second one is Samshul Akbar. These two started to be given in the Persian language, because in the northern part of India we have the influence of Persian traders coming and doing trade for many centuries. That's why Persia has been one of the major languages spoken in North India. And the next, moving on to the Gujarati language. In Gujarati language we have one more newspaper coming up, that is Bombay Samachar. So Bombay Samachar has been published in Gujarati language. And later the Muslims, those who are scared looking at the developments of the colonial period and these controversies which are coming up against the religion, and they started to get afraid, and in order to save their religion under falling of its prestige and its importance, the ulema, the religious guru, started to write or translate the holy scriptures into Persian language, and also the newspapers, and also to publish the tracts which are required for the Muslims to follow in the Islam community. By publishing them in the Persian language, ulema started to do their major contribution, and then they have established the Deoband Seminar or Seminary. This Deoband Seminary is established in 1867. Its main purpose is to issue fatwas to the people. Fatwas are not issued in 1, 2 or 10. They were issued in thousands in order to get people to understand what the knowledge is. Because in this metropolitan society, or what we call the mixed society during that period, where Hindus are being asked for reformation of their laws, so Muslims want to have their hold on their own community, so they started to preach what are the ways that we need to behave when we are in a multi-religious society, and how to safeguard yourself from the influence of the other religions. Later, Hindus started to encourage the books which make Hinduism popular. The first attempt was made by writing Ramacharita of Tulsidas, written around 16th century, got to be published in 1810 from Kolkata. And later we have 1880 Naval Kishore press coming up, and also reliable to a very large extent. So now, after the press has developed, so now we have just discussed that initially there were two groups criticizing the existing religion and some people supporting the existing religion. Those who are criticizing the old monotonous systems or rules which are practiced, which are inhuman, that has to be reformed. That is the main motto of the social reformers. So this triggered for a debate, that too in public, not only in oral but also in print, because of the development of the newspapers. This printing at the time of the controversies have been developed, that can be categorized into social controversies and religious controversies, or social reforms and religious reforms. The social reforms come under the category like widow immolation and adultery, while as the monotheism and priesthood come under the category of religious reformers requirements. So in order to educate the people, in order to make the people to understand what is the necessity to have the changes or to reform the existing laws, Raja Ram Mohan Roy in 1821 published a magazine called Sambandh Kaumudi. So in order to counter this one, and in order to educate the other Hindus and not to allow Hindus to fall into the ideology that reformation is required in Hinduism also, so Hindu Orthodoxy Society started to publish Samachar Chandrika in 1822. Not only this, many other newspapers came into existence, starting from Persian, Gujarati and also the other languages. So the first Persian paper was Jam-i-Jahan and Shamsul Akbara, second one, whereas the Gujarati one is Bombay Samachar. Well, in the ulemas, they have scriptured the holy scriptures, and they are scared of the colonial government that may destroy the existing integrity and unity of the Muslims also, and they may force the Muslims also to go towards reformation. So they started to turn the Urdu into Persian and the normal Urdu language, so that they can be read by a large number of people in the form of newspaper articles, in the form of tracts and everything. They purposefully established Deoband Seminary in 1867, through which fatwas are being released, and these fatwas are mainly to guide the people when they are in a multi-religious society without falling into influence of any other religion. And Hindus started to develop their own theme by getting some more books which enhance the specialty of Hinduism, like Ramacharita written by Tulsidas, and in 1880 Naval Kishore Press brought some more editions, and this all printing has developed the people, their ideology, their thought process, their way of thinking, their way of getting connected to the people. So earlier people were not able to understand what is the development or what is modernization, but because of the printing, people are able to get connected to large number of people. The different ideologies are widespread, so that you can decide which one is right and which one is wrong. It is not always right to say that printing has brought certain revolutions, but printing has brought change in the mindset of the people. And not only this, when we move aside from these news issues and the hot debates, when we go on to the religious side, the printing has brought many religious people come together of the same religion, because once the books are printed in which the simple language has been used to understand the religious scriptures, they are spread out individually as well as read out in a large where crowd or mass gathering is happened, in order to make them to understand what is actually in the holy scripture books like Ramayana, Mahabharata, Bhagavad Gita, and all these books. These all has added and brought the people together under one side, and at the same time brought a clear division of people in the different ideologies. But finally, printing has always added for the development of human societies on a larger scale.
If you like this video, please give a thumbs up. Please subscribe to our channel to get more videos on CBSE syllabus.